Hey everybody, KC here. So I wrote a little bit about this the other day, but I wanted to come back to it because of a story I saw in the Washington Post written by a woman named Laura Riley. And the headline was, this is the thing that caught my eye, "Food is one of life's great pleasures. Will weight loss drugs end that?" And the story was basically about how the growth of what are called GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, Rybelsus, some I hadn't even heard of, Trulicity, Saxenda, Mojinar, which sounds like a planet from Star Trek or something. Anyway, every pharmaceutical company is getting into the act, and why not, right? All the short-term research that's been done shows that drugs like these, originally developed for other purposes, like diabetes medications, they help people shed more than 20% of their body weight. And some of the research also shows that it helps them deal with other compulsions, gambling, smoking, things like that. Now, to be clear, he said ominously, there is no long-term research. So, we don't really know what the long-term implications of these drugs are going to be. Short-term research looks really, really good. Laura Riley writes, overeating and poor diet have been linked to cancers, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, heart disease, respiratory diseases, arthritis, obesity, and oral diseases. Lifestyle-related diseases are linked to 7 in 10 American deaths each year. So the stakes are high, and for many, the trade-offs are worth it. Scott Galloway likes to talk about this being the Ozempic economy. His argument is that beyond the impact on individuals, think of the business implications on diet drinks and foods, on people who make and sell exercise equipment. Because let's face it, if people can take a drug and lose 20% of their weight, they're not going to the gym. On all the businesses that make a buck on the obesity economy, they'll be irrelevant in this new Ozempic economy. Also, think about the wonderful food retailers that are out there. Companies like Dorothy Lane Markets, to Zupans, to Sue Leonard's, to Bristol Farms, that have carved out these wonderful businesses by telling a compelling and hunger-inducing story about their brands and the foods that they sell. Laura Riley says, and I go back to her at this point, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around a higher quality of life that doesn't have food and its many pleasures at the center of it all. Think of all the holidays a disinterest in food would kill. Thanksgiving, dead. Christmas and Passover, major body blow. And all those other universal things, birth and deaths and love and sex, food has a place in every one of them, and that could go away. If this class of drugs, she writes, rewires our brains and guts to think of food as just sustenance, the world will be so sad. I'm particularly suspicious of the primacy of virtues such as temperance and abstemiousness. I thought a little bit about the story that I did just yesterday about the 100th anniversary of the Chianti Classico Consortium and how it prompted me to write that one of life's great and affordable pleasures is a freshly made bolognese, a plate of pasta, a sprinkling of newly grated Parmesan, a bit of red pepper, accompanied by a rich Chianti Classico. My heart just started to beat a little bit faster. Listen, I can be just as rhapsodic given half a chance and very little prompting about a shrimp and lobster risotto, or pasta al tonno, or a great rich pork ragu, or this great tuna tartare served on an onion pancake that I used to get back in the old days at Edda's in Seattle, or the lobster rolls that we get at a little shack on the Connecticut shore, or the avocado toast at Good Stuff in Hermosa Beach, California, or this lamb and artichoke stew I love to make, or I better stop, right? I don't know if my heart can tankle just talking about it, much less eating it. The thing is, I've always struggled with my weight. No surprise, based on the way I just talked about those foods. But I don't want to give up the struggle if it also means giving up my passion for all these things. And those retailers and that I mentioned before and others like them, I would think that they would find an Ozempic economy problematic as well. Not because they're selling obesity, but they're selling one of life's great pleasures. Listen, I think Scott Galloway is right. I think there is a potential for an Ozempic economy. But I like to think that with it all, there's a potential for a food-centric economy as well. Screw it. Pass the risotto. That's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.